Welcome back, denizens of the Omniverse, for episode 2 of season 3 of Young Royals. Let's get ready to hop in because tensions are, I don't know why I even bothered to try to describe the last episode, because it's always the same thing, because everything keeps rising, tensions rising, crazy stuff happened, we're in the eye of the storm, there's freaking curveballs every episode. So let's see what happens next, guys. What's going to happen this time around? If you want to see the full-length reaction, get early access, or submit your own comments, questions, or fun facts for me to read at the end of these episodes, you can do all that over on Patreon. Get the full links for all the other shows and movies we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies to react to each month. This is a great way to support the channel, helps do things we do for here. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this reaction, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if not already, because it really helps these videos out. Huge shout out to the team over at Prepper for helping me edit down these highlights for you guys here on YouTube. And with that all said out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 2. Here we go.
Vad hade inte gjort om jag var där? Du var som en. Dra fingrarna genom ditt hår.
I need a haircut. I think it's getting that about that point that I'm kind of feeling an itch for it.
Kronprinsen, klockan är 19, mobiltimmen är slut.
Oh my god. That's so annoying, man.
Nej.
Men vi ses på måndag. Puss.
Puss.
This sucks, dude. This sucks. Boyfriend is an imported problem. What the fuck? Hands off our prince. And then slur after slur after slur. God, this place is sapped of life and light and God.
Men traditioner är viktiga på skolan, så de här invigningarna som tidigare elever talar om är väl en del av traditionen.
Stäng av då.
I positiv bemärkelse.
I love how they're turning it around because of Villa's like, oh, we don't blah blah blah, but this is like clearly like you believe in these traditions, but it's these horrible things have been part of your traditions, whether you know it or not. And they know it. They certainly know it. They have to.
Men det här är ju en uppenbart kryddad historia. Alltså snacka om en jävla porrfilm. Alltså vi hade verkligen inte en porrfilm.
I mean, there's most certainly been some sexual and physical abuse as a part of your initiation. Hell, Villa went right on through it. And just because you all didn't do maybe one of these things doesn't mean somebody of a previous class or institution didn't, you know?
Vi måste alltså offra vår student. Var tvungen att berätta för hela världen att han huckar med någon jävla snubbe.
Fan, skärp dig, Vincent.
Tänk om skolan behöver stängas ner. Alla vi kommer behöva byta skolor. Alltså, vill du gå i någon skola i stan med sossar och nyrika white trash?
Oh my god. It's funny that he's like new money white trash. You know, acknowledging that they might have money, but still that they're white trash because they just recently came into it. Like they're still not, like if they're not old money, even if they get money and rise up, it's to him doesn't change anything. It's just them corrupting and clawing their way into our circles. It's such a fucking gross way to like look at everything. So like even when you succeed, they still look down upon you, or at least that's the way that he's projecting himself right now, you know? So fucked up, man.
Borde vi starta skolan? Vi borde göra någon slags gemensamt uttalande.
Here he is working the PR angle.
Skolinspektionen och media, vår bild. Vi kanske lugnar ner sig. Kanske vi till och med får tillbaka vår student.
I mean, maybe. And it's not really for the school, it's for them. That's the only reason they're doing that, because they're being negatively impacted by this at this moment.
Kommer han prata med dig? Han skulle egentligen ha kommit själv, men...
Hur mår hon?
Probably because she's not doing very well right now.
Hon har migrän, sömnsvårigheter. Läkarna har tagit alla tänkbara tester på henne. Så nu får vi bara vänta och se vad de säger.
Wonder if it's just stress or if there's something else going on.
Kaos här. Folk säger att det är på grund av mig som allt det här har kommit ut, och jag vet liksom inte...
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it is your fault that this is happening. But you're also just exposing a dark truth about this place that has become a tradition up until this point. Which is, I was watching a video a few days ago too, just about frat house or sorority house, like rituals, like hazing, initiation process and stuff like that. It was like it was one of Papa Meat's videos, like diving into the dark, seedy underbelly of like what happens at those types of factions and stuff like that. And it's not unheard of. Hell, there's been horror movies made about it. It's been something that's been in just in the culture for, I mean, who knows how long, really. You know, it's very deep rooted, almost so much so that only until it becomes a public problem is it really a problem that any of the schools really seemingly take seriously. But it's like, even the alumni, the people that come in, the emeritus, like everybody that has been there, they have to know it exists. Like all those things are churning out and like nepotism, recycling factories for a lot of their hosts. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird. You know, though, just like how this is shining a light on it, because then it's just like, who's at fault? I mean, there's no at fault. Like, he did the right thing, I think, by doing what he did and calling out the people for what they've been doing. But obviously, they're going to be like, oh, well, you just ruined the school. You brought this down on our heads. And it's like, somebody was going to eventually, when you're just doing these things to somebody over and over, but it's just like, who's really the one casting the stone, right? It's kind of what I was thinking. Like, from their point of view, he came in and he wrecked everything, but they're the ones actually doing bad things. It's just bad things that have become, in some way, shape, or form, socially acceptable, right? So, like, it's all a point of view scheme here. But I'm with Villa on this front, but he is facing the consequences of that, and everybody is looking at him like he did do this horrible, horrible thing. And yeah, he did rain on the parade of their final days here, but it's, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Visa sig stämma. Och då ser det inte bra ut ifall vi låter dig vara kvar här.
Förrän det ser illa ut att inte göra någonting.
Det är inte hans kronprinsen. Ja, det är det. Men gud, han vill verkligen vara så uppmärksamhet.
Oh my god. Except he's not. He's not attention seeking in the slightest, so that's just something you're making up. Oh my god, that's annoying.
Tänk om de stänger skolan på grund av mig. Men du har ju bara försökt göra något bra. Och om de stänger skolan för allt, alltså det är väl bara bra egentligen. Vadå, vi skulle inte kunna vara tillsammans? Det är klart vi kan. Eller är du bara tillsammans med mig för att vi går i samma skola?
Yeah, you'd have to go to one of the normie schools again.
Jag bara menar att om jag går i skola inne i stan så kommer vi typ aldrig kunna träffas.
Why?
Alltså vi träffas ju ändå inte nu utanför skoltid. Så det är samma sak.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Och det gör ju ingen skillnad mellan oss. Eller?
Cute.
Kan inte du börja på roten igen? Med August? Nej.
Hey, worth a shot, worth a try.
Varför går du kvar där? Du borde göra en extra aktivitet som du faktiskt gillar.
Yeah, what do you even like to do? Like, what does he... That's a good point. Like, what does Villa actually like to do in his spare time?
Skolinspektionen kommer att göra ett besök här. Och då har de skickat en lista på elever som de vill intervjua. Och du är en av dem.
Okay.
Men det här är ingenting att vara nervös över.
You sure?
Typen av frågor som jag precis ställde. Och du svarade ju jättefint. Och jag vill att du ska veta att jag är så...
So she's vetting the interviewees to prep them beforehand to help what?
Och så är det såklart fint att belysa att det här inte är någon homogen plats. Här har vi mångfald.
Oh. That's okay. That's lovely. I know that's not a lot of weight, but that's still very dangerous to do. Like, God forbid it slipped out of his hand and landed on his throat.
Kommer då lite information. Förstod skolledningen hur viktigt? Så, det blir övernattning, grillning och har någon en gitarr?
That works.
Men hörni, jag förväntar mig...
I wonder if those two are ever really going to dive into the secret feelings they've been holding back and all of that. I forget their names.
Tror du vi får sova ihop?
That's very wishful thinking right there, but who knows? Maybe. Oh, that's gotta hurt a lot.
Alltså jag fattar om du inte vill kanske börja tänka lite på vad du ska... Du kanske vill jobba med hästar.
Jag har insett att människor bara köper och säljer dem som om det vore någon produkt.
Yeah.
Så kan jobba med att ta hand om de hästarna som far illa i så fall. Och då är ju körkortet första bra.
That's a good point. Yeah. Oh. Help rehabilitate horses that have been abused rather than be a part of the cycle.
Starta bilen så är det viktigt att...
Se till att inta korrekt körläge.
Oh, this is cute.
Flytta över foten från bromsen. Sakta släppa på kopplingen samtidigt som man försiktigt gasar.
Oh, yeah, what is he even here for? That was endearing. That was cute.
Varför ska vi repa om vi ändå inte får uppträda?
Hörni, jag förstår att ni är oroliga. Vi ska öva som att det blir av.
I get it. I get both sides of that though, to be honest, but yeah. Oh!
Förlåt att jag är sen.
Oh! Let's go! Can he sing though? I don't know that we've ever heard him sing before. He's just doing this so they can be together. That cut. Fantastic. Yeah, that's why he's really here.
Jag visste inte att du gillar att sjunga. Nej, jag gillar inte att sjunga.
We still don't know what he really likes other than Simone. Like, what activities does he actually enjoy? I can't think of a single thing that he's done in his spare time as like a hobby or something that at least comes to that I could think of at least. Oh, I thought he almost fell. Mood.
August, jag kan inte snacka med Vincent om den kvällen. Han säger bara att det var ett skämt.
Oh.
Det var ett skämt.
Was it though?
Det var inte så kul skämt, kanske.
Nej.
See, August isn't like a complete demon.
Det vågade liksom säga något.
Vi satte ändå stopp för det. Vi höll vad vi lovade. Vi gjorde inte samma sak mot våra ätter.
Yeah, aw.
Jag vet inte om jag vill ha det offentligt.
Ja, nej.
Alla ska veta, känns.
Ja, nej, alltså inte jag heller.
Oh, wait, then what happened in its place? I mean, I guess like what we saw with Villa, I guess. Just still pretty goddamn fucked. Or maybe he got a lighter sentence because he was not the crown prince at the time, I guess, but still the prince. But yeah, even he was able to like recognize when something was a little too fucked. Uh-oh.
Vi kommer max för 30 minuter.
Träna får du göra innan utegångsförbudet.
I didn't even think about how this would impact his condition.
Jag kommer inte kunna sova en blund om jag inte får ur mig någon.
Du kanske kan göra lite yoga på rummet.
Oh no, man. Oh no. Fuck, dude. I just imagined him jumping out the window. Wait, where are we right now? We with the doctor? Or is he in his room? Where are we right now? I don't recognize that angle. Holy shit. Plugging in a landline. I guess I was just in his room. Oh, he remembered her number, though.
Hallå? Hallå?
He's not going to be able to speak up. He's really got some demons he's got to wrestle with, man. Self-imposed and externally imposed.
Else to do.
Ja, men då kan vi bara... Jag orkar inte skriva.
Oh, he's gonna talk to Simone. Yeah.
Vad?
Hur mår... Ja.
Hon bor hemma hos sin pappa som hon hatar. Till skolan, hon har inga vänner kvar. Hon har inte ens sin familj kvar. Allt är ditt fel.
God, that sucks, man.
Vad vill han? Han frågar om Sara mådde bra. Jag kommer snart. Vad fan tror du att du håller på med? För att du är min reserv, men det har du inte.
Har du det då?
August, min familj äger dig. Du lyssnar på mig.
Jag lyssnar inte på dig. Jag jobbar inte för dig. Du är inte kung än.
Interesting. Oh, fuck! Yeah. See, when August went back to his room to shuffle through what was in those drawers or whatever, I thought he was at this guy's office. I thought we had bounced around to the next day and he was trying to figure out, before he plugged up the phone and called Sarah at least. I thought, since he wasn't able to go do his normal routine of like purifying his thoughts through like punishing his body or exercising, whatever you want to call it, like the way that he, you know, when he has these episodes, he needs to work out because it's his stomach starts to get into knots. And then also he's starting to like, you know, punish his body for how he's feeling or whatever, take it out there. Because like, again, going back, he's always checking his body fat. So like if he's bloating, if he's feels fat at all, or even if like whatever's happening, he needs to feel like he's doing something to counterbalance it, or at least counterbalance what's going on in his mind with a physical activity. So I thought for a second, since he didn't have any pills anymore, since he didn't have any of that, he may have actually entertained what, you know, seeing this guy and going through it the official way, accepting that maybe he's got an issue that he needs to address in like a medical way. But now we got into a tussle. We wound up here anyway.
Det var ett skämt. Ja, precis. Det var skojbråk.
Play fighting my ass. No one's gonna buy that.
Vi på skolan som ser mycket allvarligt på det här, utan det gör även hovet. Och därför så har vi bestämt tillsammans att ni två ska gå i, ja, vad ska jag kalla det, medlarsamtal.
Oh, lovely.
Hos mig.
So they have to see each other once a week. Oh my god.
Det kommer inte hända igen, Boris. Du kan vara lugn.
Ja, bra, men det är redan bestämt. Och vad jag förstår så hade ni också en väldigt nära relation båda två med Erik.
Nej, inte han. Han känner inte Erik. Vad tror du det?
Oof. I mean, yeah, he probably knows Eric better than he ever did, really. Like the real Eric, probably a little bit more than Villa ever did. Or just two sides of him that they each knew that the other didn't. Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Listen, I'm just going to say this once and I'm just going to leave it right here, man. I, who was raised Christian, for me, a God that abhors love in all of its form. Love, lust, and all of that are two. Love and lust are two very different things, and the sin of lust or all the other things that they kind of associate with deviancy is not synonymous with love. A God that abhors love is not a God I worship in any way, shape, or form, or believe in. So that's one of those things where I'm just like that. I refuse to believe that. You know, sorry, still a little tangent. That shit pisses me off, man. It really does. Did he post it or did he delete it? Aww. Let's go.
Meddelande till kronprinsen.
Tack så mycket.
Oh my god. Yeah, they did not like him posting it though. Comment on it, be like, hell yeah, beautiful voice. Or some shit.
Simon. Videon som du har lagt upp, den är jättefin. Men vad?
You know. You know.
Det är texten. Folk kan tolka det hur som helst. Jag tycker inte det är fel att stå upp för oss. Jag vill bara att vi ska kunna ha ett privatliv. Då funkar det inte att du lägger ut sånt här på sociala medier. Jag älskar dig. Jag måste lägga på. Okej. Mamma kom nyss.
She didn't though.
Puss. Sov så gott.
Sov gott.
That sucks so much, man. She was just already there the whole time. Unless she actually did just get home.
Är det där ett till hotbrev eller?
Det är från Hillerska. Jag vet att du är arg på henne.
Och jag har bröt kontakten med min egna pappa för att hon hatar honom. Och nu bor hon hos vår pappa.
Yeah, I get that. That sucks.
Om vi ändå ska tvingas ut i skogen och frysa, ska vi inte bara fixa ett rave då? Vi har ju hur mycket lampor som helst.
Oh my god, ja! Alltså jag har verkligen rikspanik över det. Det känns som att hela skolans framtid hänger på vad jag säger.
Ja, fast lite är det ju.
Well, thank you. Oh my god.
Vi andra sitter ju bara så här, läser allt skit som alla skriver om allting och vi kan liksom inte ens bemöta det.
Fast det är ju mycket av det de säger som faktiskt är sant.
Yeah.
Treorna som bestämmer över ettorna. Vem som är extern och intern. Jag har inte tänkt på det innan förrän nu i alla fall.
Nej, fast det som tidningarna skriver är ju så mycket värre än vad det är.
Is it though?
I mean, the things with the guys and the porno. Do you think that's true? Because that's fucked up.
Ja, men så här, jag tror det är klart att det är det, men...
And you guys did commit arson as part of yours.
Ja, alltså jag tyckte också vår var jättekul. Men jag bara menar, det finns ju en tydlig hierarki. Och vissa förväntningar och grupptryck. Det kan ju vara skitjobbigt.
I love how reflective some of them are taking it versus how others who are just kind of so ingrained in it that they're still rationalizing and normalizing it.
Husmor säger ju alltid till mig att sätta på håret när jag har glömt. Men aldrig er.
Yep, that's discrimination right there.
Jag menar bara att det är inte alltid jättelätt att vara den enda svarta tjejen med lockigt hår i vår klass.
And then they called her a diversity pick essentially for the interview to showcase they've got multiple types of people here at the school. So that's why they think they wanted to make sure what she was going to say about the place as well.
Det är inte riktigt det jag menar med det här. Men ja, kan någon hjälpa mig?
Ja, men vänta.
That was an amazing scene.
Okej, hörni. Då delar vi upp oss 3 och 3 i varje tält. Så tjejer med tjejer och killar med killar.
Så att om man är gay får man zooma med varandra, men inte om man är straight, eller va? Men jag bara, alltså i teorin.
Dude, oh god, what if they get knowingly? Oh. I'll randomize it. Oh god. Dude, what if either one of them wound up stuck with August?
Men alltså, jag skulle ju kunna sova med dem, tänkte jag. Alltså.
Nej, men vi löser. Är du säker?
Ja.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Skulle jag kunna sova med er? Alltså om det känns okej.
Ja, gärna.
Well, that solves that one.
Hallå, ni fest eller? Marieberg is in the building!
Hey, whoa, what the hell are they doing here?
Malin, det är lugnt. Det är Simons vänner.
Okej, men inga bilder på kronprinsen. Är det så här ni kampar?
Ja, vi ska ha rave. Så varför dansar ingen då?
It's a good question. Oh, wait. Oh god.
Simons kompis med... Alltså Roche. Alltså, jag vet inte vad hon heter. Jag tyckte hon var nice. Va?
It's because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. Ah, no. You need to stop hiding it.
Ja, jag ska vara så här sommarledare på ett fotbollskollo för kids.
Aw, hell yeah.
Vi ska faktiskt till New York. I New York? Eller i USA.
Nej.
För det är typ så ett ställe som mitt största intresse är att resa.
Yeah, but that's like if you have the privilege and ability to do that, you know? I'd love traveling too if I could afford it as much as I would like.
Alltså, fan vad jobbigt. Fattar aldrig vad det är USA.
Nej,
Fan alltså.
Imagine not having been to the US. What the fuck? Dude, shut your mouth. I'm sorry. They don't even, they can't even acknowledge the privilege they have.
Okej, det kanske var lite stelt, men nästa gång så...
Ville, du kan inte bara säga att du också ska sommarjobba. Du ska på prinsskola, det är inte samma sak.
Oh yeah.
Ni får allt gratis, ni får kläder, ni får resor, du får vad du vill.
Folk hör oss. Det låter som att vi bråkar.
Oh my god.
Kan vi inte umgås? Bara för att vissa får kläder av sina föräldrar och andra inte. Är det det du menar?
Ni fattar inte hur privilegierade ni är.
Rosha och Jobb, de har koll på hur mycket pengar du har fått från August, eller?
That's also not the same thing. Had he been in a different dealt different cards, that may not have been necessary at all. You know, like God. Things were going too well. Oh God, what now? That's a gorgeous sight though.
Hej, det är pappa.
Ja, jag hör det.
Jag ringer bara för att säga att mamma kommer bli sjukskriven.
Oh no, it's not. Whatever's going on it's not getting any better.
Hon är i dålig form det här året efter Erik och allt som har hänt efter det.
Är det mitt fel?
Nej.
No.
Hon är bara väldigt ledsen.
Man blir frisk, eller? Hur länge tänkte hon sjukskriva sig?
Vi vet inte än. Vi får bara hoppas att det börjar gå åt rätt.
Whatever's going on with her, I guess it must be mental then.
Och det betyder att du
Emotional?
är stark nu.
That sucks. Damn, what a place to end right there. I love how this episode, because of everything that came to light as a result of Villa's like truth bomb regarding the school, its practices, traditions, and all this kind of stuff, it's caused a lot of people to reflect upon what they've normalized, and especially on how they've been treated. Because finally, they actually called out how Felice had been treated differently compared to others, and how while they don't necessarily think from their point of view that their initiations were that bad, it still follows all the same structural hierarchies that the rest of them do, and the expectations, the peer pressure, the this like implied need to go along with the whole thing, to fit in, to whatever. I love that. And on the flip side of that, you have her and the English speaking friend, I can't remember her name, reflecting upon how that can be negatively seen, while the other ones are kind of talking like a lot of the other people in August's class about how everything's going, how it's affecting them, how it's not that bad, how it's all in good fun, there's nothing wrong with it, almost trying to justify and rationalize it, and how it's just affecting their... I was like, why don't I talk about it or complain about it once we're done with the year so that we can still have a good little year here, talking about that rather than the broader, like making it about themselves versus about the broader problem at hand. And then you also have, as a result of this, that kind of, it gets expanded upon even more when Simone's friends start coming in to the little woodland rave, and they're like, hey, well, we're going to New York. Have you ever been to the US? It's like, no, never. And I was like, oh, really? That's weird. Why not? Like the clear lack of self-awareness. And I love that Simone calls it out. And I do feel like while Villa has a point in some way, shape, or form, it is a little bit different, but it is not different enough compared to what Simone's saying. Like, yeah, he doesn't, it might be work for him, but it's not his livelihood. He'd be fine no matter what happens or what he did. All of that's going to be taken care of. That discounts, it just shows the clear class divide between a lot of these kids and everybody else in the world. And even within this little group here between the two of them, and how, Simone's made, his choice of language of like us and we and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, it's true. Like Villa is, and has been the entirety of this relationship, very ignorant about his privilege, his status, his station compared to Simone. He wants it to be normal, but it can't be. And he talks about it as if it is sometimes, and it simply isn't. And I like the way that they kind of, while it sucks how it's affecting things right now, but seeing how they treated and talked about his friends behind their backs after they left, and he was there to hear that, just it goes to show how these people talk about them when maybe he's not even around. Clearly so. You know, we've heard some of the things that they've said about him in private that he's not even heard, you know, and it's just some messed up stuff, dude. You know, they think them lesser simply because they have less. And that's just not fucking true. And it's just, oh my God, it pisses me off. And rightfully so. Simone got pissed off about all of that as well. I do like seeing in this episode how Sarah is kind of, even though like he was trying to help her with what to do next, you know, find a job, maybe even what to do. And I love how they landed on like, you know, providing like rehabilitation or therapy for abused horses rather than being part of a system that, you know, trades and sells the horses or just take care of them while they just temporarily get some reprieve before they go out and repeat the cycle back with people that don't really give a shit and treat them as an item as opposed to a living being. And like putting her in like a rescue station would maybe be more befitting to her desires. And I like that they worked that out together. And that's something she's also kind of getting over here because a lot of this has been deep rooted in her hatred of her father and the aversion of that. And, you know, this is a step forward. And he's like, okay, well, can I help with that? And maybe we can get you your driver's license as a place to start so you can start working towards something like that. But she also, like, even so, like, it was a sweet little moment, though. And, like, even if she already knew all the things he was trying to teach her, it was still something showing them bridging this gap. And I get how that complicates things or misconstrues things or whatever from Simone's point of view after everything they've been through up at this point for her to run away and leave the family and leave the school and go stay with him after he sacrificed so much of himself for her and for the family. And that was one of those things. I like how it's really kind of diving into all of this. And the same thing with August, how we're not exactly seeing the black and white of it all. It's not as clear cut as one would like to think. And like, yeah, he wanted to reach out to her. He does care. He loves her. And he still had to check, whether it be hearing her voice or trying to check in with Simone. And then that eventually escalating into what's going on with, you know, that little tussle between him and Villa, and that resulting in them requiring a, what was it, weekly or whatever, an annual check-in between the two of them and the school's psychiatrist here to force some kind of mediation between the two. And so they're going to have to work through all of that crap. And then meanwhile, too, we also learned when going back to like the traditions and all this stuff and like with the boy stuff, despite what we had heard about here, and that was stuff that had been done, but when we got, I can't remember his name, but the only other queer kid that is part of this group, the one that was helping Villa with everything going on after the fact, once it was out about Villa, you know, he approached him and talked to him. You know, he approached August about this, talking about things and about, you know, what had been done in the past and how they didn't do that to him. But there was still some things that maybe across the line that they still don't want to talk about, but how they did change things for him. They tried to be mindful of that going into it, maybe because he knew and he was one of the only people he felt like he could talk to about that. So they have tried to shift away from what was into some better territories, but it still fucked a lot of the things that they have been doing, you know? And I love the way they kind of talked about that. You know, a lot of this self-reflection going on multiple levels. And now we got this wrench thrown in, especially like the tensions between Villa and August after all of this, and like, I don't work for you, you're not the king yet, blah blah blah, and then all the pressures of all of this, the loss of Eric and how that's breaking his mother, and now she's on leave as a result of just breaking over all of this because of probably what would happen with Eric. And while not directly, I don't know, while you can't rightfully put the fault on Villa for it, or maybe you shouldn't, whether it's true or not, you know, saying that to your kid that it's your fault, it's probably very true that Villa's aversion to walking in his brother's footsteps and the way that he's been handling becoming the crown prince has probably not helped things. Like, I think just calling it what it is most certainly has probably had an effect, but you know, it is what it is. You can't really do anything about that. And it's not right for him to be forced into this regardless, especially against his will and desires, you know. We'll see where all that takes us, man. But we have some Patreon stuff to check out here. So let's head on over to there. Vivi asks, do you think Felice should go forward with giving an interview since they are only just using her as a prop to show how inclusive they are? It's shitty that that's probably the reason. I don't know, like, I feel like she probably out of everybody would have been chosen regardless. But I think because of that, I think the reason she was called into the office was as part of that as well. But I could be completely wrong about that. It could all be just because of the color of her skin and all of that to show that they do have a diverse range of students. But I think also in the hierarchy of the school, she's also just pretty high up in general, especially with her relationship with everybody. I felt like it would only be natural for her to be chosen in general. I think her being called in the office so they can kind of pre-check her answers to the interview questions, that's where it got a little sussy. Because if she says anything negative, I think that would add extra fuel to the fire because of who she is and what she is and all of that. And then that could be misconstrued. So I think the problem is that the fact that she was isolated and brought in to vet first, because we didn't see anybody else get called in to see what their answers were going to be, right? So like, I think that's the sticking point, not necessarily that she was picked to be interviewed at all. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's just my point of view in the whole thing. But I think any of the kids should give the interview and say what they need to say. But again, are you covering it up? Are you speaking the truth? And is she going to speak the truth? We'll see. I love that they had that talk after all of this, because maybe she will, like Villa, call it out on what it is. We'll see. What will she do? What will she do? But I get the stress of it all because she knows exactly what's going on as well. Villa joining the choir was such a typical teenage move, joining something you hate or suck at just to be near the person you have feelings for. Yeah. What was the craziest thing you took part in just to be close to your crush? Not so much to be closer to, but to get closer in with, or at least have something to talk about. Was like, I know during college at a point, there was a girl I was crushing on really hard. She was huge into Doctor Who, and at that point, I had never seen it. So that's actually what got me to start watching Doctor Who, was so that I could talk to her about Doctor Who. And now I love Doctor Who. So it's funny how that kind of works out. And then also, do you think Simon is going to be able to handle all the comments and negative attention his relationship is getting? I think it's going to be hard, but I think he's going to be able to make it through it, especially if he continues to be his authentic self and show people that, to counteract all of that negativity. It won't silence it all, but at least it brought in positive reinforcement that came in from that, from him posting that video. Oh my God, I didn't know you sing, as if that just wipes away. Oh, you have a talent? To hell with all the things I was saying about you before. This man can sing. It's funny how that can turn some people around. It's like, oh shit, you have talent. Fuck. I'm sorry about some of the negative things I said. Counteract it with some positive, and I think he was able to balance that out. But then again, the Royal Crown has to come in and be like, can't have you expressing yourself, or how is this going to reflect on us? That's the part that sucks. He was starting to get some counteraction to that by posting that video, but then that invited negativity from the royal court through Villa, who has to be the mouthpiece of it for him, because they won't talk to Simone directly. Oh my God, it irritates the shit out of me. While not exactly the same thing, really gives you a good perspective on why many celebrity couples call it quits on the relationship to this day, an age of social media. And you can understand why so many younger celebrities don't even bother with social media or publicity date anyone. Yeah, I can't even imagine about that, having your entire relationship, or it being examined, poked and prodded, or don't yell too loudly. They might think we're fighting out there. We can't have anybody thinking that. I can't even imagine that pressure. And I keep a lot of the stuff going on in my personal life pretty silent, and almost effortlessly. And I'm not like saying I'm like a celebrity or anything like that, but I do have a pretty hefty following compared to your average person. So it is something that I am kind of mindful of, but obviously it's not something I also have to vehemently go out of my way to really avoid. But like, I can't even imagine that. This is a whole other level too. He can't even ride a bus without being recognized or called out like that. It's just, I don't even, like, I get it. Like the stress of that, and why there is this desire to just remove yourself from the equation or the public eye at all. But then there's like, well, then you can't celebrate, you can't show them off, you can't do all the things a normal couple can do. And it sucks, man. And then Malta, who plays August, I probably said that wrong, is such a great actor because you can hate August and feel sympathy for him all at the same time. So true. Fun fact about Malta, he's actually wanted to play the role of Simon, and they didn't think he was the right fit for that, but he felt he would make a great August, and they were so right. But imagine how different the show would be with him as Simon. Wow, huh? Well, there's a couple of different social dynamics that would definitely have changed about the show and the structure. The general story would stay relatively the same, but yeah, it'd be very different, I think, for sure, with if they had actually gone that route. But I love the way that they actually went with it. He's also a great musician and singer, plays multiple instruments, is even in the Swedish band called Crescenterna, which means the crescents in English. Cool. Everybody's in here. Well, I don't know everybody. I know the actor plays Simon, and then I guess him too. They're musicians. You know, that's fun. I can't believe he was in the running for Simon initially. I can't even imagine. I have a hard time like computing what that would look like, you know? But yeah, he does such a great job. Like I couldn't see him as somebody else. He does such a great job like portraying all these different like layers and complexities of his character, all the different things you go through. And yes, while he does these vile fucked up things at times, there's other times where he's doing some of the sweetest things possible, and it's just like it's this push and pull, and it's like the whole conversation of this episode almost is like how much of our traditions require being re-examined, because he's going into this like a lot of the other kids they've been born in it, raised in it, and it's all they really know, and to them it's so normal, and he has to like, especially with his pursuit of the crown and elevation and status and how he views the lack of any of those things, you know, his loss of status, his loss of power, his loss of station, his loss of respect, you know, especially after his father's failing business and his father taking his life. The absence of all of these things that he was raised to believe makes him feel like he's less of a person. So there is like, he feels like his life is tied to these material things. So when there's these moments where he's allowing himself this opportunity to not be adhered to that, or to value things that aren't necessarily material or find value in other people, like he can look down at somebody else in a way that the other kids can't. When he looks at Sarah, he just sees somebody like him, and as much as he's still kind of skewing that in his brain, he doesn't see her as lesser, he doesn't see her as beneath him, and he genuinely loves and cares for her and has done some crazy things for her to prove that. But then when it comes to all these other things where he's been programmed since birth to covet, like he's so torn, he's literally divided mentally, and it shows in the way that he acts, the things he happens to his body, the way his body reacts to the stress, the situation, the way that he pushes back against his body. It's literally tearing him apart physically as well as mentally. That's why I'm so like gung-ho on the idea that if he doesn't like iron any of this stuff out, he might follow in his father's footsteps if he's not careful, if it becomes too much and too burdened. You know, it's like, while it doesn't excuse any of his actions, he's still responsible for every single one of his own actions. You can understand the world and the conditioning and the things that made him do what he did. You know, it's just fucked. And he plays it all so well, because like you said, you can hate him, but at the same time, you understand and you can empathize, at least, I think, with him a lot of the time. And I do sympathize for him as well, because it's not his fault he was born and raised the way he was, and it's hard. It goes back to like how much of this was just in his nature versus how much of this was something that was put into him through the nurture, through growing up in this environment that covets these things and puts value on these things. You know, would he be the same person if he was born in a household like Simon? Like, would that have played out very differently, or would he just kind of do the same things but a different scale with different people? It's hard to know, like, where those lines are, because we're only seeing him in this position, but it does make me wonder how that would play out, because there is good in him, and it just shines through in these moments, and honestly, it's drawn out through Sarah, and honestly, this kid that came to him too about that, the other queer kid, who came to him about their previous traditions and how he made an effort to talk to the other people and not do that. So it's not simply just Sarah. It's like he has been self-reflective on some of their traditions and tried to like accommodate and work. So like it's interesting to see where he compromises and where he doesn't. Anyway, I can ramble on about that, I feel like, for eternity. So I'm going to leave it there and pass it off to you guys. Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If it did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if not already. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon. If you want to get early access or submit your own comments, questions, or fun facts for you to read over there, you can do that all over there as well. And speaking of before you go, I want to shout out Angela Burr, Adriana Melee, and Lily Chan-Son. Thank you guys so much for becoming saviors here on the channel, helping sponsor and support the rescues that I've been taking care of here at the office. You guys have been a tremendous help. And as always, I want to give a huge special thank you to all of our channel legends. Thank you guys so much for all of your additional support. It means the world to me over here, and thanks to you guys and everybody over on Patreon, we're able to do like all the things that we've been doing here with the workload, with the amount of shows and all of that. It's all thanks to you guys. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to the people here on the channel, because without y'all, we wouldn't even be here. And with that all said, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.